Well, hello there, friends and RC family. My name is Alec from High Noon Hobbies, and if you're new to this channel, I very much appreciate you checking it out. I hope you will stick around, watch at least this video, see if this content seems worth your while, and consider subscribing. So then I can say to you, if you aren't new here, welcome back to yet another Friday upload. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be back with all of you here on the channel. It has been far too long. This is the longest break I have taken without posting an RC video since starting this channel, and I very much appreciate all of your well wishes, everyone who left comments wishing me a speedy recovery. It really means the world to me that all of you guys are part of my RC family, truly. And I have felt the support, and I really do appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, I recently went through an ACL reconstruction, and it was a doozy. I thought, a couple days of recovery, we'll be right back at it, and unfortunately, that was not the case. It has been nearly a month now, and it's been brutal. I won't lie, but I am really excited to get back to these videos. I wish that I had more new content to show you, but we do have some really exciting unseen footage that I want to narrate for all of you guys today. And I also want to kind of share a few things about the channel, some kind of goals and some expectations for 2024 that I want to share, and I really want to put out there and achieve with each and every one of you. But first off, I want to introduce our driver for the day. This unseen footage, we're going to be watching T, the founder of Slut Crawlers and a fantastic builder and driver here in the northern Utah region, representing northern Utah back in 2022 for the first time that we put on the North vs. South Utah RC Crawlin' Championship. And this is a spectacular run, so I want to break this down with all of you guys. T, as you can see, is a really fantastic builder. He builds some really original looking, some really awesome looking trucks, and he always throws on his own touch. In this particular case, we've got a full-on metal cage on the rear of this truck. Definitely not improving the performance by any means. He's also got a pretty beefy front bumper in front of this thing as well, and this is actually one of his original bodies, and he's kept this body for a long time and kind of iterated on this design for a long time. And it was cool to see him put this truck together and then actually compete with it, because as we all know, a lot of guys are trying their very best to lighten their rigs, make it as light as they possibly can, and really get it, that cheater rig status, right? The G-Speed, the carbon fiber rails, the now we've got the Rock Pirates Kraken, all sorts of different, chassis out there that are really designed around spare time hobbies, that are really designed around trying to be as lightweight and efficient as possible. And then T comes along here, and he is going to absolutely throw down a fantastic run with a much more scale looking truck, a full metal cage on the top of it, a ton of weight on the top of the truck, that kind of high center of gravity weight, and he still manages to pull it off. One thing that I will remind all of you guys, if you don't remember, for the 2023 season, we switched the winch points from 3 points to 5 points, and that meant that anytime you were using a winch, now it was no longer just 3 points. And this run in particular, and many of the runs on this course, actually were kind of the reason that we switched it, and you'll see in this video what I mean. Right there, just out of the gate, T on gate number 3, and oh man, what an unfortunate scenario there. I do have to take a moment and just say, so what happened there was he does not have a trigger guard on his remote. T does not have a trigger guard, and that's something that, is often overlooked. Those Spectrum rugged controllers that have just that little bar that comes out in front of the controller, that's a huge deal to have that there as a little bit of a safety, so that you don't end up hitting your trigger and modulating the throttle when you don't mean to. In this particular case, T was was just finished winching through that bonus gate, and then unfortunately he ended up slamming the reverse for just a split second, but it was just long enough to throw him back off that ledge. Luckily he made the bonus, and luckily by getting thrown back off that ledge he didn't end up in that gate number 4 right there. But a very unfortunate circumstance, and something that is often overlooked is, you know, how is your controller set up for comping, and are you going to end up accidentally knocking that trigger? And definitely be very careful about it. In this case, he definitely didn't have the perfect setup on his controller for that winch system, and that the mechanism there, he's using actually a dial on the side of his controller. And while it's nice to be able to modulate the speed of the winch with that dial, it also puts his hand in kind of an awkward position. It doesn't allow him to do everything all at once, and that's one thing that I really push. I've got a video out there on the GT5 for Capra 4-wheel steer, and I go through kind of some of in that video and a few other videos. I go through, you know, what are we looking for in a controller, what's the ideal controller setup, and that's one thing that I really want to drive home, is that idea of, you know, let's make sure that our controller is set up so that we don't end up in a situation where at the very least we end up bumping the controller and causing an issue like that. But he manages to recover very well from that situation, and again, pulling this scale truck through, and that winching being 3 points instead of 5 points is a huge advantage in this 2022 season, that we ended up seeing kind of the effects of switching that just a couple extra points, right? From 3 points to 5 points made a big difference in terms of the way that people ran in 2023. A lot less winching in 2023 than there was in the 2022 series, as we're seeing in this particular circumstance. So back up to a 9 with that unfortunate little hiccup there, but T's still making fantastic time of this course. I believe that these were 8-minute courses back in 2022 as well, but we'll figure that out at the very end. But he's still making fantastic time even with that error, and then having to winch a couple times to get through that nasty side hill up on the top section there. We've got Scumbag RC as our official judge for this course. It looks like he's actually passed it off to Jace from 816 Garage, 2 other guys that, if you don't follow them, fantastic builders, fantastic crawlers. I'll link to their Instagrams down below. Making it through that nasty descent, and then we're headed into the second bonus gate. Now this one got quite a few people all sorts of tripped up, but T immediately sees the right line, heading over to the far passenger side, which is where you're going to have the least breakover angle on this particular obstacle. And luckily, even though he lost a little bit of grip there, he didn't lose enough to get pushed over into that passenger side cone. He was able to get that winch out, and then we've got Scumbag here helping him get back through that gate so he can eliminate some of these points. Getting through that bonus, taking 10 off. We were at 12, now we're at 2. And we're on the back half of this course, and honestly, I think the front half of this course was more difficult than the back half. Now it's just about keeping your composure. You've got time is no longer on your side, and so really it's about maintaining a good throttle control and really still seeking the best line as you head through this last section, just so that you don't make any kind of non-critical errors or any kind of stupid mistakes, right? So we're going to head through gate number 6 here. This is another tough ascent, and T immediately pulling the winch out after seeing that first bump didn't work. I think that was a really good call on his part. And again, when it's 3 points for a winch instead of 5 points, you're gonna take it. He managed to knock off 10 points on that last bonus, brought him back down to a 2. So really that winch is not a big deal, bringing him back up to a 5. And you can see how just a few points in each of these penalties really start to add up. And we saw some much higher scores in the 2023 series than we did in the 2022. And I think this was a big reason. That this particular rule change was a big reason for it. But I wanted to share this footage with you guys just because I thought this was an awesome run, and it was one that we hadn't seen from last year. So I appreciate you guys coming along with me on this one, and I hope that my narration wasn't too rusty after almost a month off. I do want to share, as we're kind of wrapping up here, just a few of the goals and kind of expectations for the channel moving into 2024. Right out of the gate, with how much physical therapy and everything I'm having to do, I want to actually instead of doing a weekly video, I want to do a video every 2 weeks. And then we've got the finish at a 7:28, so that definitely was an 8-minute course with a +8. So fantastic run there by T. As always, the founder of Slut Crawlers, really, really fun to watch him run through courses. Now we've got some drone footage from 816 Garage. This is drone footage of the 2023 series out at Desert Mountain. And we've still got some more runs from Desert Mountain that we'll take a look at as well. But we're going to move down to one video every 2 weeks instead of one video every single week. I just have a lot on my plate right now. I hope that you guys can understand that. And I definitely want to pick back up to one video every week, or maybe even 2 videos every week. But just for now, it's going to be impossible for me to handle all of that and everything else that I've got going on. And you guys made it close to the end of the video, so I want to say I appreciate you watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this every 2 weeks on Friday. And then I'm still going to be supplementing those videos. See, these videos take a lot of time for me to edit, but I do want to supplement these videos and include live streams in the off week. So we'll still have technically a video every week. It'll just be a live stream instead of an actual video every week. So I hope that you guys can appreciate that, and we'll get back to live streaming next week. Bring Sons of Crawl on, and we'll do our high noon at high noon. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy some scale trailing, maybe some hard lines, and we'll see you soon.